All right, let me film you real quick. Nice. Ooh, pitcher missed it. All right, can one of you go get Maddie, and then just for like 10 minutes, can you guys pick some snap peas? So like just pick as many as you can, and some of them are a little bit like done, you know, like past whatever it's called, past their prime.
Like this one's bad.
No. So what we're gonna do actually tonight on this beautiful night while the kids are picking snap peas is we have 9, we had 10, but now we have 9 varieties of onions currently in the garden. So we're gonna go check on all of them. Earlier this year we seeded them in trays inside, and then remember we came out here and planted them.
In April, yeah.
Yeah, was that in April?
Mid-April, yeah.
And these 3 beds and a couple over there, but we're gonna go visit them and we're just gonna see how they're doing, check in, and it's gonna be exciting because I was out here earlier and I saw how big some of them are already.
Yeah.
We're even gonna compare some of the varieties we started, one of the varieties we started last year. So, and then why we have one variety less than 10, we have 9 currently, is we actually, we ate one of the varieties already.
Which one?
The Red October.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start with this bed. You've probably heard me talk about we overwintered this bed, and we'll just pick one because a couple of these, like that one, when the stem falls over.
Look at that.
Yeah, when the stem falls over like that, that's ready to be picked up. So this is Walla Walla. You want to hold that?
Yeah.
And then this stem, like that might be still growing. I don't think it'll get too much bigger because that's a good size. That's a good 3.5, 4-inch onion. There's a bunch like this, and then this is a little bit smaller, but that's a good size onion still. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So we started them in August last year. I had
So cool.
plastic over this low tunnel. I'll throw up a picture of what that looked like with a foot of snow on it. All right, I just dug a little spot here and I'm freezing. So I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna do any more, but hopefully you can see. So that was kind of fun. Some of them went to seed. Let me just pull this one just so you can show you. This one went to seed, obviously. And they're so pretty when they go to seed. Oops. And it's such a delightful thing to look out in the garden and see this. These are leeks, but see these bulbs and different shapes. Different
I like the
shapes and colors. Yeah.
Shade to them, yeah.
Yeah, these leeks are
that's pretty.
purple, so that's kind of cool. This one's really pretty.
Yeah. It's like fluffy too.
Yeah. So
like a pom-pom.
with that, why I picked this was, I think, yeah, see that's squishy.
Oh, it's mushy, yeah. This one's
mushy.
not, this one's hard.
Yeah, so when they go to seed, they put all the energy, take it from the bulb, or it's not really a bulb, it's a bulb, it's not a root. This is the root, this is it bulbs out.
Right, so is that just compost then?
Yeah, maybe not, maybe I'll cut that off in case I don't want like onion seeds in the compost.
Oh,
But this is a pretty cool looking plant, if you will. Anyway, so that's the ones we did last year. Let's hop over there and we'll go on a little tour of the onions. So these are
I forgot about these ones on the
either
end.
yellow or white Spanish. Yellow sweet Spanish. And this is pretty typical for where we are in size for this time of year. So like I said, these are, we seeded inside this year. So that's about, inch and a half, 2 inches. The smallest one is probably 1.5 inches right now, or
maybe an
or
inch.
not even bulbing out like that one.
Yeah,
smaller
that
ones,
one's small too.
But a lot of them are gonna get big, and you'll see like we did full rows. So a few here didn't germinate or didn't last. They got they died. So a few of them died.
And
over here is white sweet Spanish. And some of them, you can tell, maybe a few there, a couple there didn't.
Some are getting kind of big though. That one's like probably 2 inches across.
Yeah, they're about the same. I'd say the same as the yellow. But that's how those look. And then this is our little onion-haired smiley face guy. That brings us to this bed, variety number 4.
Yes.
This is red Zeppelin. So these are a red onion. These are doing amazing.
How do you remember that?
Well, when you don't tag stuff,
Well, no, the tag's over here. I just came to check, but you were right.
Well, I like onions. So the nice thing about these is I added this compost a couple inches. So you don't want these, if you want them to bulb out, you don't want the bulb underneath the soil. So I'm kind of letting them try to sit on top of the soil, but the soil that is still here is nice and loose. So it's almost like it's on top of the soil, but these are a little bit bigger on average. Do you want to pull one out, actually? Pick one to pull?
Yeah. Which one looks the biggest?
Well, she's picking one. I'll just show you this basil over here. It's filling out. A couple marigolds, some more basil. Smells amazing. Oh, there's one of those beetles. Oh yeah, one of those little cucumber beetles or whatever, little neon stripes. I got him. So those guys love the basil, and I'll show you what they do. Did you get one?
No.
So that was kind of cool video because they come and they eat the basil, and they stay off the
There's one.
rest of the plant. So that's the purpose of the basil in these beds. So this is red Zeppelin, and this one says it stores for 7 months. That's why I picked this one. So that's doing pretty good. It's got a big old neck on it, so I'm hoping that means it'll bulb out even more. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Never grown this variety, but it's looking good. If we go over to this one, this is Candy. This is actually probably doing the best. So
Yeah, these ones look great. Wow.
why don't you get the biggest one? Like, get that one right in front of you.
This one?
Yeah, there's a lot like that size. This is Candy onion.
That looks good.
Yeah, and this is a nice plant. Look how pretty that is. And it's a white onion. It tastes good. I don't think it tastes like candy, but
It's sweeter than
it is
regular,
good.
yeah.
Obviously it's... So that's that. Nice, perfect little onion. These do not last very long, unfortunately, and I've had that backed up by a couple other people that have grown it. So that seems to be pretty common. And then over here, this bed's split, actually, because and you might be able to kind of tell, this is just by the foliage. This is red Nugget over here, and then this is more candy, the excess candy we had. And we also have some from last year I kept in for pretty that seeded themselves, or I forgot to pick. But this is the red Nugent. I'll just pick one here. These are a little smaller than the red Zeppelin. Oh, I got that one. They're a darker red.
Yeah.
And then they're both like purpley, but one's more, at least right now. So we've never grown these two.
Yeah.
Red Nugent and red Zeppelin.
Right.
And we will go to the other side of the garden where the rest of the varieties are ones we did from sets. And I wasn't going to do sets this year, but my mother-in-law had a bunch of extra, and so I didn't actually know what varieties these are. They were just left over from some sets she gave us.
I think she just said red and white.
Yeah, red and white.
Like that.
Typically they're just labeled red, white, yellow.
Yeah.
So some of the
So we
stores.
just put them in some bare spots.
These ones are from sets, and you know, these ones, this is the best, probably one of the best looking ones.
It's not too far behind that.
It's not, but not all of them are this big.
Yeah.
So you can take that.
Okay.
Here, we'll compare. We've always had better luck. These are the ones we did from seed. These are the ones we did from sets. They work. You want to take these? And then we do have a white variety. This is typically more what our set onions look like this time of year. They're obviously not done yet, but much smaller than the seed onions. We'll go on a nice walk to the greenhouse. Okay. And here we have a variety back here I did from seed. Now I've never grown in a greenhouse before, and typically, there's a big old weed. Typically onions like the cold, so these ones are growing, but they're not growing as well as the ones out there. So this is
Wow.
Walla, and it is, you know, I don't know if it's liking the heat quite as much, but it is working. And then these are Yosemite, a hybrid we got from seeds from Cherry Valley Gardens. And these ones are about the same size, so a lot farther behind the candy and the red varieties that we seeded. So just so for our own sake, and if you're wondering, the two, can I have the one I just gave you?
Oh, I'm sorry. There.
It's fine. These are the two different varieties that are grown hot in the greenhouse here, and they're not quite as far along as the candy onion, which is grown out in the cold, and the cold nights, you know, when do we put them out? April. So something to consider. We'll see how they do at the end of the season. All right, so here's a look at them all one more time. White sweet Spanish, yellow sweet Spanish, red Nugget, red Zeppelin, candy, the overwintered Walla, the seeded this year Walla, Yosemite, the red onion set, and the white onion set. So we have all those growing and looking really good in the garden right now. And this is June 30th, and they're still a very firm stem.
Except for the overwintered ones.
Except for the overwintered ones, obviously. And then the ones in the greenhouse are falling over.
Yeah.
Because I think they're just looking for a little bit more light, because I got them a little close to these summer squash in here. And it's been hot. It's super hot in here. So for what it's worth, hopefully that helps. Like I said, these are the greenhouse grown ones through the hot of the summer. The ones that are grown in the cold are looking great. And then, at least for us, the onion sets are always underperforming the seeded ones. So seeded, overwintered, greenhouse, onion sets, if you want to think of it like that. And then what we do with them, thank you for asking, is put them in pasta sauce when we make pasta sauce with the tomatoes, and then we're going to try to store some of them using better methods, hopefully more successful methods than last year. So we have a lot more onions than last year. Not a lot of them went to waste, I don't think. We used most of the onions we grew last year in the pasta sauce that we made, and it's really good. We had some tonight.
Yep.
Actually, tonight we had pasta sauce from our garden, and
Broccoli.
And broccoli from our last year's garden. We're not even growing broccoli this year. So
It was in the freezer.
From the freezer. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that's informative and encouraging. And let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm by no means an expert, but after this year, I'll have a lot more confidence based on the failures I've had the last couple years, and trying to refine what I'm doing, trying to understand what the onion needs and what it how it likes to be grown, what environment it likes to be in general, and then everything else is just variety specific. So thank you so much for watching, like I said a couple times already, and we'll see you next time.